Today is International Religious Freedom Day. It marks the 19th anniversary since the passage in the United States of the International Religious Freedom Act. It's a significant day for us just to be able to remember this basic value in the United States, religious liberty. The opportunity to be able to have a faith and live your faith anywhere, at your home, at your office, out and about in public spaces and private spaces, or to be able to have no faith at all. It's a basic protected American right that, quite frankly, many Americans take for granted. It's become so familiar to us that we forget most of the world has severe persecution in this area. In fact, a third of the world, according to the latest studies, live under very severe persecution of their religious liberty. We need to be able to speak out on this basic American value. Quite frankly, to be able to not only live our value here, to be able to protect the rights of every individual, to be able to live their faith or to have no faith, but to also be able to export our value. One of the greatest things that we can export around the world is the respect for basic human dignity. There's quite a few folks around the world would love to be able to see the freedoms that we have. That should be a conversation that we have. Individuals like our ambassador at large for religious liberty, who's not been confirmed yet in the Senate, should be confirmed quickly. To be able to allow that voice to be out there working with every embassy in every part of the world to be able to help articulate this basic value of religious liberty. To continue to press on issues like genocide. Genocide that was identified by the Obama administration, dealing with what ISIS was doing in Iraq and Syria against Yazidis, against Shias, and against Christians in that area. But also to be able to look at genocide designations in other places, like Burma. We also should look at what the State Department has already. That's the countries of particular concern. Not look at what's happening in those nations, but to examine if they're oppressing religious liberty, we should apply sanctions to those individuals. Quite frankly, our trade with the rest of the world is one of the main levers that we have to be able to encourage other nations to not only step up in fair trade and fair labor practices, but to also step up and protect basic human dignity. That includes the dignity of people to be able to live their faith or not be required to have a faith at all based on the country that they're in. We see this declining in places like Cuba, like India, like Sudan, like Vietnam, certainly North Korea, so many other places around the world. We should speak out. We should do what Martin Luther King Jr. encouraged us to do decades ago, that is find a new way to speak for peace. These are things and ways that we can cooperate together, to be able to live our values and to be able to encourage others to take a good look at what we're trying to live out. So I encourage all Americans today on this Religious Freedom Day to live your principles. If you have faith, live your faith today and know that you're walking in freedom. Or if you're an individual that doesn't have faith, you're welcome to be able to communicate that in an open and diverse nation like the United States, to be able to live that principle and encourage other nations to be able to follow our lead. So let's set the example today, but let's also go to work, because billions around the world don't have the same value. We can help them experience this human dignity and right.